All right, guys. Today we have Palantir earnings dropping at the closing bell at 4 o'clock. Palantir has had a huge rebound from where it was. Palantir dipped all the way back down to under 100. Came all the way back down to 65. And since early April, has made 100% rebound all the way back up, which is honestly a crazy rebound. Let me find this here. Hold on. Let me know if you can hear me. We should be good. Let me get some music going. Still not feeling 100%, but I'm feeling better. What's up, D, Sig, Leo, Lost, Pawn? What's up, guys? Yeah, let me know which one you like more. I could put the green screen back up if you want me to be honest. So if you want me to put the green screen back up, let me know. I can. Whatever you guys think is better here. So I could put this back up. Let me know if this works. Yeah, we'll do a poll. Which background do you prefer? Green screen, normal background. What of a what's up, K, Sigma, Blaze? So far, nobody's voted for the green screen. So y'all like the normal background? The normal is sympathetic. My office here, I mean, look. Is it really that bad? I don't think it is. You know. Like I can put the green screen back up if you guys want me to. But let me know if you want me to. Again, Palantir Q1 earnings. Slightly green on the day. You can see the previous closing price right here at 124.20s. So look at Palantir, man. Honestly, these moves are crazy for Palantir. It was at 65, 100% bounce back. Yeah, let's take a look at the EPS graph for Palantir EPS. Honestly, though, the PE ratio is high for Palantir. Like, look. Palantir last was, I mean, honestly, they're expecting a pretty big B here. Their last one, we showed up 13 cents a share. So is what they're expecting today, 13 cents. We also have HIMS, Ford, Realty Income, VRTX, FANG, Clorox, Evercroat, and more. But here's Palantir's EPS. You know, their revenue is kind of the big, I mean, they're profitable. They've gone profitable on the year. You know, you can kind of see their growth is doing pretty good. Although, like, look, here's the last year they made about 19 cents a share. Here's their revenue. Revenue's doing great. Growth company for sure. Look at the growth in revenue. 828 million is what they showed up at last time. This time they're expecting 862. So they're expecting a bump up there. Yeah. So they're expecting a bump up to about right here in revenue. We'll see if they actually hit that or not. See, this is why the green screen is good though, is because I can get myself out the way. Let me move this over. Here, I can also make this like really small. Yeah, so here's Palantir's revenue. Yeah, so the PE ratio for Palantir is high for sure. It might be better at the current. So the PE ratio for Palantir, I'm showing it's got a PE ratio of about 654 a share, 654 a share. You know, that's higher than most companies, of course. Very high PE ratio. All right, so we're gonna keep the normal background. We're gonna do another poll here. It says, does PLTR beat or miss their quarter one earnings? But again, that's the revenue expectations for them here. We'll see if it holds. Yeah, the PS ratio currently is 106, multiples of 106x times its revenue per share. So high. But I mean, if you're betting on the future of Palantir, you're betting on the future of Palantir. You know, I'm not necessarily against it. I still want Palantir to go up. I think Palantir's a strong company. I think it'll probably go up over time. And I think eventually, just like Nvidia and other AI related stocks, it's going to catch up to this high ratios that it's currently seeing. So I think they're going to be fine. Pfizer with upgrades to 28. All right, so to talk about what, like, okay, investors are going to be listening for confirmation that quarter one revenue came in within or exceeded its own guidance. Palantir's own guidance for quarter one showed up at 862 million last time. Street estimates around 862 to 864, which would be 36% year-over-year growth. We'll put some numbers on the screen so you can watch. Here's story one for Palantir's earnings. Story 1. Let me figure out a better way to do it. Yeah, so street estimates. But yeah, here's the first story right here. Like, revenue versus guidance. Investors are going to be listening for confirmation that Q1 revenue landed within or exceeded Palantir's guidance of 858 to 862, with street estimates clustering around 862 to 864, which is 36% year-over-year growth. You can see these numbers right here on the left side. That's one of the big stories. Again, guidance numbers of around 862 to 864, 36% year-over-year with revenue. Obviously, when we want to look at EPS, they're expecting 13 cents a share. 13 cents a share for everything. And that's a pretty big amount, like, when you consider... You know, here's the other story. EPS and margin trajectory. Watch for reported adjusted EPS versus the 13-cent estimate. That's up 62 to 65% year over year. So again, Palantir, honestly, Palantir has doubled in share price in the last, like, what, month? Since April 5th. April 5th, it was at one of its lowest levels in years, $65 a share. It is now at $125 a share. Any commentary on operating margins remains to be seen if the record 45% adjusted margin for Q4 25 or 24 holds or expands. And so you want to look for that with Palantir. More stuff to look at here. Commercial versus government dynamics. You want to pay attention to the split between commercial, projected at 35% year-over-year growth to $403 million, and government revenue projected at 37% year-over-year growth to $460 million. Any shifts in segment mix? Government contracts comprised of over 40% of Q4 revenue. And so that's something you want to look at. So yeah, I mean, Palantir does a lot of government contracts. One of the reasons they're boosted up some, they've announced some pretty big government contracts over the last 6 months, and that's driving them higher for sure. United Health, Realty Income. Yeah, we got Realty Income today. HIMS, Ford, VRTX, old school stock, FANG, FANG. We got Clorox, Evercroat, Williams Companies, Upwork, True Blue, Mattel, a couple other ones, but most of them drop like right at the closing bell. A lot of these drop right at the closing bell. The other story you want to pay attention to with Palantir, though, is you want to look at large contract wins and pipeline deals. So listen for details on new and renewed contracts, the NATO Maven Smart System, U.S. Special Ops, command extensions. Overall deal count is currently at 129 deals greater than $1 million, 32 deals greater than $10 million in Q4, and the health of the large deal pipeline. And so again, one of the big catalysts for Palantir is deals. And so, yeah, pay attention to these. And so you can kind of see this here again. Details major new and renewed contracts, NATO Maven Smart Systems, U.S. Special Operation Command Extensions, some examples. Overall deal count currently at 129 deals greater than $1 million, 32 deals greater than $10 million in Q4, and the health of the large deal pipeline. Looking at Palantir, one of the other stories you want to watch is cash flow and capital allocation. Stakeholders are going to be focused on free cash flow generation. Q4 adjusted free cash flow is at $517 million at a 63% margin. And any updates on share repurchases, debt pay down, and reinvestment plans into R&D and AI initiatives. So that's a big one you want to watch. These are all the big stories that I would personally listen to for this call. See what they say during it. Yeah, let me get a timer up. I forgot to put a timer up here. We still got 30 minutes left until it just drops, but really it's like 27. Yeah, we got like 27 minutes left until the closing bell, which is probably when Palantir is going to release their numbers. I'll put this up above me here so you can see it. It's right here above me. Looking at our poll number, 77% think they're going to beat, 23% think they're going to miss. Yeah, so we did a poll as well. If you want to vote on the poll, I'll put the link up. What should my daily goal be if I start trading? Not to lose. Try not to lose money, bro. Don't lose money. Don't lose a lot of money, I would say. Most day traders are going to lose, bro. Almost all day traders lose money. It's almost an inevitable thing, especially in the first few years, you know. Like, it's pretty normal for most day traders to lose money. I wouldn't go into it trying. I mean, you want to try not to lose, but you also want to have reasonable expectations. If you go in there like I can never lose $1, you're probably just going to lose boatloads of money, you know. Versus if you go in there and you're like, okay, let me keep my size small, let me keep my risk small, and let me trade very small. That's the way to do it. Like, don't listen to anybody telling you anything else. Almost all of them are full of crap. You know, just trade small and test your strategies. Don't be too stubborn with strategies either. Sometimes people build strategies that don't work, and then they stay stagnant pushing the same strategies over and over and over and over again, and the strategies don't work, you know, but they've spent so much time and energy they don't really want to hang it up, and so they just keep on trading the same strategy. And you know, test your strategies, make sure it works. It's okay if it doesn't, move on to something else. Eventually you'll find one, and there's lots of them out there. So I think Palantir is going to go in slightly better than expected. I think they're going to show up at, like, I'm going to go with 25 cents a share EPS on revenue. And this is just a straight up guess. Do not copy me. I have no freaking idea what I'm talking about. Do not copy me. I'm going to go with 25 cents a share on 871 million in revenue. Slightly better revenue, much better margins. I think their margins are what kind of needs to be fixed. And so I think they're going to do slightly better. Or I think they're going to do much better EPS, slightly better revenue. Maybe vice versa, but we'll see. Chat, what do you guys think? Give me your predicted EPS and revenue. If you want brownie points when they come out, you might be right. Let me see what you say in chat. List them here. And, you know, you might be right. But I'm going to go with 25 cent EPS, revenue of 90... what was it? Revenue of 871 million. That's what I'm going to go with. Yeah, so I did a poll on X as well. 87% say beat, 13% say miss. We got more votes already, but now it's 70. Now it's about 80-20 on X. At Beginner Trades, if you want to give me a follow. It's at Beginner Trades. I appreciate it. But yeah, looking at their revenue, I wouldn't be shocked to see them do better with revenue. Like, taking a deeper look at this. Last time they showed 828, you know, it jumped to 870s. Not a shock. Today they're expecting, what are they expecting today? They're expecting 863, roughly 13 cents a share EPS. Their EPS 3 cents, 6 cents, 6 cents, 4 cents. Expecting 13 cents today. I'm gonna go with 19. I think maybe I had a little bit over. I'm optimistic. I want them to show up 25 cent EPS, but I think it's either going to be like 25 cents or it's going to be like 18 or 19 cents. We'll see. Maybe I'm just diversifying my answer. started trading this morning, made profit but lost it. Don't mind losing because I learned from that mistake. What do you think my goal should be? I think your goal should be to not destroy your account, because it's pretty freaking common for day traders to destroy their account in the beginning for sure. So just trade smart, trade small. Don't freak out and take too much size and try to win back your losses. Trade small. All right, so let's put the Palantir. All right, so Palantir. See, this is where AI is getting it wrong. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I'm trying to put this up. All right, so here's the expectations. Quarter one revenue 862, 863. I'm actually showing on a different platform. It's 863 roughly. Guidance 862 year over year. Adjusted EPS 13%, 62% year over year. Tight 4M guidance range sets a high bar for upside, surprise or miss. Margin and cash flow watch. Quarter four recorded a 45% adjusted operating margin and 63% FCF margin. So free cash flow is what FCF means, just to put it into perspective. And I did a poll here. We're doing 77-23 on beat or miss. Beat or miss. 77% of people think we're going to beat here. 23% think we're going to miss. Looking at our poll on YouTube, it's 74% think we're going to beat. 26% think we're going to miss. Yeah, I feel better. Yeah, today's the first day that I've woken up and I'm feeling actually like noticeably better. Like, dude, I was feeling bad for a while. My daughter had the same thing. Dude, so Microsoft is officially shutting down Skype today. Skype, bro. I completely forgot about Skype, dude. Wow. Dude, I know I signed in for Skype. I was trying to get in touch with somebody and I signed in to Skype like a year ago. I completely forgot about Skype. Rest in peace. Skype, bro. Man, that's crazy. I forgot about it completely. Is that an oak desk back there? Yep. Get this coffee away. Make sure to drink this one so it's not. Yeah, it's been so long for Skype. It's getting shut down. Rest in peace. RIP. All right, so we got a couple big news stories that actually happened today, and then we've let's Let's talk about the news today. U.S. House Speaker Johnson says House Republicans remain on pace to pass the Trump agenda by Memorial Day or shortly afterwards. The IMF's Georgieva says we are headed to a new trade equilibrium, but there will be turbulence. We had ISM Services PMI data come out this morning that came in stronger than expected at 51.6 versus 50.2 expected. Brazil's Petrobras CEO says company is pressuring suppliers to adjust prices after sharp oil price drop. And again, we did have crude fall down heavy here. Palantir is getting really flat, but crude has been down. It's rebounded back up a little bit though. Like, look. So this is where it opened, way down here. People. I mean, crude is already at a really low price. It's under 60, which is very low for crude. All right, 77, 23% likelihood beat or miss. 74% beat on YouTube, 26%. Good luck, bro. Skype did have a good run. I like AMD as a company. All right, guys, we got 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Palantir breaking down. So you can see the previous closing price right here is this light blue line. Palantir is now technically red. It's slightly underneath that light blue line right now. Slightly. So Palantir technically red on the day. Let's see if it holds over under that level. Again, oil down big. Palantir up 100% in the last month or so. If you put a daily chart up, this is where Palantir was a month ago. About 65. 65, bro. So it's not quite 100%, but it's close, you know. It's had a crazy gain after the big correction that it was in. All right, so U.S. CBO's Swagel says they will still see late summer for the debt ceiling ex-date. U.S. still has the trust of global investors. I like AMD as a company. All right, so let's talk about some levels on Palantir. I think that's something that y'all probably want to tune in for. So Palantir, I think number one, we got to look at the high of the day, which is right up here at 126.60s. We got a double top up there too, 126.60s. I think we got to look at the low. I think honestly, if we're talking about major levels, we got to look at a daily chart here. I think this is a very important level that we're at. 125s. 125.40 is the previous all-time high prior to the crash, and Palantir's all the way back up there. So we got to watch 125, 125.40 if we're going to be exact here. And then I think we have to watch $100 on the downside. You know, now these are extremes. We don't know if we're going to move this much, but I think we got to watch $100 on the downside. 125s, which is the previous all-time highs, which is basically right around where we are now. 125.40 is the level, so really it's about right here. This is about it right here. And you can kind of see we've had some we've tested this level a few times already. Like, look, 125.40s. Above us, though, we got the high of pre-market up here at 126s, so we got to watch these three levels are really what I'm watching. Underneath us, we might have some levels. We could put like a hourly chart up, but we've been honestly in a straight ramp up here. So I'm looking at like 100, and then I'm looking at these levels. Above that, we have kind of open. I mean, I think it certainly could because it's on a growth trajectory right now, Yuli, and it's on growth and it's also momentum based right now. So growth and momentum can propel it obviously higher. Doesn't mean it's going to, but yeah. Yeah, so basically I'm looking at it for that. It's very strong as of a company, but Looking at our votes, we're pretty similar on both platforms. It's about 3 to 4 people think Palantir is going to beat earnings. It doesn't mean we're going to, but about 3 to 4 people think we're going to beat earnings. Here's the timer. Again, and at the closing bell, we got Palantir, we got HIMS, we got Ford, we got Realty Income, we got Vertex, we got Clorox, we got Williams, Upwork, and more. We got like 11 minutes left though. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna watch all of these. Like, we're gonna watch HIMS, Realty Income, which is O, VRTX. Like, we're gonna cover all the releases here. Like, we cover everything that drops. And so I wonder how many people are in our Discord. I'm curious, members. Okay, we got 6,400 people in our Discord. Appreciate the love. Yeah. Hey John, do you think AMD will ever get back to 140? I mean, I think it will eventually. It just depends on when. I think it's probable it will. AMD earnings tomorrow, so same thing with like Supermicro. I think it'll just take time. But yeah, I mean, I think AMD processors are like most people's preference modern age, right? Which would you rather, Intel or AMD processors in your computer? And again, as we say, this Palantir is starting to break down. We're under 124s. I think most people would prefer AMD. But who knows? Yeah, I started trading almost a decade ago. I think people know Intel, but AMD processors are... Yeah, no. Yeah, so we got one of the CBO guys, which is the Congressional Budget Office, talking about stuff. He says they still see late summer for the debt ceiling X date. U.S. still has some of the trust of global investors. He said it's possible for this date to come forward. He sees U.S. revenues are coming in line with projections. And as we say, this Palantir breaking down a little bit. It's now technically red on the day. Yeah, we'll see. All right, Chad, we got 8 minutes left. Compact got myself. Anything I can buy off the shelf in Office Depot. Intel for work, AMD for gaming. Reddit's so undervalued right now. Stack. Yeah, I think Reddit's very useful. I think Reddit's useful because people need to find a way to get like websites can be manipulative, and I think people like I know when I search for things, a very common search tactic I use is this good for you, Reddit? Because you want the truth sometimes. You want multiple opinions, not just one. And sometimes it's good to get multiple opinions. All right, guys. Hey, we got 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Palantir's down. AMD's back over 100 though. And then we got HIMS. Hims is like a mail subscription service for pharmaceuticals and a lot of stuff. All right, chat. 6 minutes. We got 6 minutes left. Nvidia down to 114s. So Nvidia still breaking down. Meta's falling down a little bit. Apple down under $200 a share. You know, and we were on a 9-day green streak. I don't see like everybody kept talking about a 9-day green streak today. The problem is that I don't actually see a 9-day green streak anywhere. Like, show me the 9-day green streak. Tell me the symbol. People keep saying, oh, it's the S&P 500. Here's a daily chart. Nowhere do I see 9 green days in a row. Red, 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 red. Where's the 9 green days in a row that they've been touting here? They said, no, it wasn't the S&P, it was the Dow. Okay. Here's the Dow. Thursday was red on the Dow. So what are they talking about? They say it's the NASDAQ. Thursday was red on the NASDAQ. They say it's the NQ futures contract. Thursday was red. The 28th was red. Yeah. So, I don't know, man. Even if we say, hey, it's the SPY. Thursday was red on the SPY. So was the 28th. Maybe my system is designed differently or something. Okay, yeah. I guess this one did open up. Hold on, wait. So this one closed 550. This one opened up 551. This one closed 550.80s. Opened up 548. So this one still opened up red too, but yeah. I don't know. It's not showing up on TOS. Look at Palantir breaking all the way down to 123s ahead of this release. Palantir's right at that big resistance level too. All right, guys, we got about 4 minutes until the closing bell. All right, chat, we got 3.5 minutes until the closing bell. We got a lot of stuff dropping right at the closing bell, too. We got Palantir, HIMS, Forward, Realty Index. Most of these drop within 5 minutes after the closing bell. So, we'll see what we look like there. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes. Two and a half minutes left. Look at Palantir come back up, though. Here's the previous closeout, 124.20s. 124.20s. Also, y'all, do me a favor, subscribe. We need like 43 subscribers to break 160K. I mean, we're definitely going to break it this week because it's a Fed week. But still, subscribe. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Still about 25.75 in our polls. Palantir is spiking up right now, though. Again, the big stories of the day, we'll give it to you one more time. Revenue versus guidance. You know, the last guidance for Palantir came in at 864, which is 36% year-over-year growth. EPS expected at 13 cents. Commercial versus government dynamic. You want to pay attention to the split between commercial, which is projected at 35% year over year to 403 million, and government projected at 37 year over year growth percentages to 460 million. Watch for any shifts in this dynamic and percentages. Government contracts comprised about 40% of Q4 revenue. Their AIP platform, which is management's update on adoption of the AI intelligence platform, including conversions from recent AIP boot camps, net dollar retention, new enterprise use cases, will be key to gauging sustainable commercial momentum. Another big thing with Palantir is their deals. So you want to look for large contract wins and pipeline stuff. Listen for details on major new or renewed contracts. Like an example of this would be NATO Maven Smart System or the U.S. Special Operations Command extensions. Their overall deal count currently sits at 129 deals over $1 million, 32 deals over $10 million in Q4. Watch for FCF, which is free cash flow. Q4 adjusted was 517 at a 63% margin. Any updates on share repurchases, debt pay downs, or reinvestments with research and development and AI? So that's the big stories you want to watch. Again, contracts, AIP updates, commercial versus government dynamics, and more. That's the stories of this earnings call. And we got less than a minute now, Chad. This timer's a little bit early, I would say. We actually have about 25 seconds until the closing bell. Palantir's earnings are actually scheduled for 4:05. They could release them anytime, though, before or after that. So we'll watch to see. But yeah. All right, here's the close. All right, there's the bell. Chat. Let's watch Palantir. We'll see when they drop. All right, we're now 7 minutes into the day. What released right at the close? So Vertex, VRTX was scheduled for right at the closing bell. We're waiting for these results. Bear with me. Nothing for Palantir yet. I see somebody that says their revenue. Okay, this is nonsense. This person's just making stuff up. I see somebody just making stuff up. Booted this man. Still waiting. Nothing yet. All right, so VRTX, their earnings are out, and they are big down there at 487s right now, 487s. Look at VRTX. Huge drop. All right, so VRTX. I guess nobody cares enough about VRTX to really cover it like this. Palantir's starting to creep up there, though. All right, so VRTX posted 406 versus 429 expected. Revenue of 2.77 versus 2.86 expected. So they missed EPS, missed revenue, while the revenue was up year over year. Still looking at Palantir's numbers here, or waiting for Palantir's numbers. Nothing's out yet. A lot of people waiting. Technically, Palantir's scheduled for at 4:05, right at the close. Or, I'm sorry, 5 minutes after the close. But look at VRTX. We also have, that's basically all the big ones. Almost all of them come out after. We had Fang. Look at Vertex, though. We also have HIMS. All right, chat. That's a big candle. Let's see what happens. Yeah, still waiting on HIMS. Nothing out for Palantir. Vertex is the only one. Most of them drop in about 2 minutes exactly, chat. So we'll give it a second. HIMS is supposed to be coming out at 4:05 p.m. So we got about 2 minutes. You'll see it when they're out though. You'll see the movement here. Like you also see, like one thing you'll see how Palantir's candle's starting to shake. Once the candles get really shaky, that usually means earnings are coming soon. And so I see Palantir shaking, but it's nothing's really here yet. Everybody's just kind of sitting around. We'll watch HIMS as well. All right, guys, we got about a minute left. Yeah, so here's Vertex's numbers. We'll put those up in chat. Nothing else has really came out yet. Here's Vertex right here. Yeah, we'll see. All right, 40 seconds. 40 seconds. All right, there's Palantir's. Palantir numbers look like they're out. Let me make sure. Palantir numbers look like they're out. Checking. Not 100%. No, that's not really a big move. Might be just getting volatile heading into it. Nothing out yet. Might not be out. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here's 405. All right, there's HIMS. HIMS is reacting here. Still waiting for Palantir. Nothing yet. Palantir down in 119s. All right, Palantir is out 13 cents versus 13 cents. Revenue of 884 versus 862. Expected quarter 2 revenue came in at 934 versus 938. Expected outlook 3.89 versus 3.9 expected. So EPS as expected. Sales came in at 884 versus 862. All right, so again, their second quarter revenue guidance showed up at 934 to 938 versus 898. Outlook as well. $883 versus 862. So we made a post about this. Palantir adjusted EPS 13 cents. Ford came out with their numbers 14 cents. So Palantir basically showed up flat. But look at Palantir start to run here, chat. So look, here's that 127, 126.90 level. So again, we got Palantir's numbers out. I'll put them up on screen so you can see them. But yeah, they are out now. All right, so that is Palantir's numbers on screen. Palantir flying up almost to 130. Hit 129 basically right now for Palantir. Ford is out as well. They posted 14 cents versus 2 cents expected. All right, let's see if this previous support turns into resistance right here. Look at that. So bounced right off of it. HIMS should be out. Let's see if we can find it. Hold on. HIMS posted 586 million, up 111% year over year. Net income of 49.5 million. Adjusted EBITDA up 91 million. Subscribers grew 2.4%, up 38% year over year. Affirmed full year 25 guidance. HIMS missed though. They came in at 22 versus 23 cents. That's probably why HIMS is down. Look at Palantir about to hit 130s, chat. Again, Palantir showed up 13 cents versus 13 cents. Revenue of 884 versus 860s. Quarter 2 revenue 934 to 938. Expected 898. fiscal year 25 revenue guidance came in at 3.9 versus 3.75 expected. So way better than expected. Here, I got a better scroller here so you guys can see this. There you go. A little bit more readable version. All right, so Palantir with a dip and HIMS turning all the way back up here. Realty income just dropped, which is O as well. It showed up at 28 cents versus 37 cents expected. Revenue of 1.381 billion versus 1.28 billion expected. Fiscal year EPS 146 versus 149. So realty income missed a bunch. Here's those numbers up right here. All right, so we're starting to turn all the way back down here for Palantir. Yeah, the conference call is at 5. Also, guys, if you haven't already, check out Top Step. Top Step, great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose. And so if you want to learn to day trade the market, it's something that you can do profitably if you do it right. But most people, it takes years to learn, and they lose for years before they win. It's called paying market tuition. Top Step teaches you how to trade in a really good way, limits your risk when most day traders lose. Top Step gives you a 50K demo. They test your skill with it. If you can pass the test, you got to make 3K in profit without losing 2K first, following their rules and conditions. If you can do that, they fund you 50K with a 90% split. And prior to the split kicking in, you get to keep your first 10K in profit. If you fail, you're out $50. So it's very similar to funding your own account and split. If you fail, you're out $50, and they've paid out hundreds of millions. They fund thousands. A beautiful way to learn how to day trade when most of them lose. Most day traders are going to lose. It doesn't matter what course you take, who you follow. Most day traders are going to lose. And so the best way to learn is through this. If you want to check it out, they are an affiliate of mine. I get paid by them. So I am biased in their favor for sure. Understand all this stuff on screen. Palantir is starting to turn, but is starting to bounce back a little bit. Understand all this stuff on screen. Not an investment professional. Not liable. If you lose, always make your own assessment. But yeah, Palantir came all the way back down to lows, broke lows, and then ripped back up to the top. But if you want to check out Top Step, link is in the chat. I also pinned it to the top of the page as well. A great way to help support the channel here. Yeah, look at this. Palantir's kind of choppy. Like, it's slightly red relative to where numbers came out here. So it's basically right here. So it's slightly red. So is HIMS, though. HIMS isn't really reacting too much either. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, we need less than 30 subscribers to break 160K. And we cover most of the big earnings reports in the Mag 7. We cover every major economic report, Jerome Powell's speech meeting, Fed meeting, breaking news of the market. We stream live every weekday right here. And so here's the HIMS full report as well. I'll put these numbers up so you can see them in chat. HIMS is out. HIMS missed EPS, but the adjusted EPS showed up at 20 cents actually. So actually HIMS beat EPS, beat revenue by a pretty big margin too, and they had good guidance, and they grew almost 40% year over year. It might have been over 40%. So, all right, so let's see if we can hold over this previous low of the day at about 118.30s. 118.30s previous low. All right, guys, so Palantir pretty freaking sideways here. Let's give you guys some more metrics to look at from all this stuff. So again, Palantir, just gonna break some stuff down here for a second. Palantir again. Palantir raised fiscal year guidance from 3.74 to 3.76. They posted adjusted EPS of 13 cents versus 13 cents. Quarter one revenue of 889 884 basically versus 860 is expected. So an interesting segment of them is quarter one government revenue came in at 373 versus 460. And so what's making Palantir drop right now is probably this metric right here. I'll put it up on screen. So if we look at this metric right here, this is probably what's making them drop. So if you look at this, Palantir quarter one government revenue came in way under the analyst consensus at 460. Commercial revenue came in lower as well at 255 versus 403 expected. So their revenue from commercial and government came in much lower than expected, but they beat revenue forecasts. So they must have made it up with their platform or something like that, but weird. Government revenue at 373 versus 460. Commercial 255 versus 403. Yeah, so they came in as expected for EPS. They did raise their full year 25 revenue view to 3.89 to 3.9 billion versus 3.75 expected. So they raised it up to 3.9 versus 3.75 for Palantir. Starting to rebound back up, almost back up to 123s now. Yeah, I don't know how. I'm just covering on what they reported. Well, Palantir missed commercial and government guidance numbers is what I'm showing. So yeah, kind of a big miss here. Yeah, so we need 9 subscribers away to break 160,000. So about 9 left. I'm not gonna pressure you guys, but you know. Upwork, so we can cover Upwork, but again, a lot of stuff is already out. Upwork posted 34 cents versus 27 cents expected. I'm not seeing their revenue, but Hims missed EPS. Realty Income missed EPS. Vertex missed EPS. Clorox missed EPS as well. So a lot of stuff missed today, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know, Nah. Sometimes earnings reports are strange. I like Upwork as a company, too. I really do. I think it's good. All right, chat. So ISM services came out today a little bit better than expected. Palantir coming back down. I'm trying to see any other updates to this stuff, but Nike announces senior leadership changes to accelerate growth and drive win now action plan. Anything else? Yeah, see, this is what's confusing. Again, government revenue expected at 373. FactSet consensus was 460. Commercial revenue at 255. Consensus of 403. So I must be missing something else. I don't know. So Palantir earnings show big growth. Palantir AI business remains hot. That's why the company boosted its outlook for the full year. Software company expects 3.89 bill to 3.9 billion versus 3.75 previously for 2025. They also expect at least 68% growth in commercial, upward of 1.178. Previously, the company was targeting 54% growth. They said on the ground the demand is unrelenting, said Ryan Taylor, CRO. It's continuing at a full pace, and we're not seeing that slowdown. We felt it in the conversation we have with customers wanting to start quickly and customers wanting to expand quickly in short succession. CFO David Glazer added that Palantir aspires to be the most important software company in the world. So yeah, but Palantir is still struggling at these low levels here, chat. Still struggling at these low levels. So we'll see what happens. We got time. It's a big FOMC week this week, so just be careful, chat. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm not going to do the earnings call today. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Again, I'm not doing an earnings call today. I'm probably going to cut it now and just kind of bow out for the rest of the day. So y'all be safe. Again, y'all be good. We'll see if Palantir bounces back. We're going to cover Palantir and the rest of the stock market and futures market action live at the opening bell tomorrow. I'm going to assume we broke that 160 level. We did. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate the love. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate the love. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Have a great day. Be smart. And yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all be safe. Remember, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you want to check out Top Step, link is in the description. Again, if you want to learn with me, most day traders lose. And so if you try day trading, you're probably going to lose money. And so you might as well limit that risk. Try something like this. It's a lot cheaper. Great way to learn. Most day traders lose. If you want to check it out, link is pinned to the top of the chat. They test your skill. It becomes kind of like a challenge. If you can pass the challenge, they'll fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. And so check them out. Link is pinned to the top of the chat. And yeah, y'all be good. Understand all this stuff on screen. Guys, I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.